Acheron. Slowly, almost reluctantly, she sets down the cookie and offers a slight half-smile. I have a sweet tooth. Asta. Startled. Hey, I was just tasting it to make sure they're not poisoned. With a sly smile, Black Swan continues to take another cookie to nibble on. Did I get caught? Bronya blushes. Hey. Looks away. You saw nothing. Clara. She's startled and freezes on the spot, staring at you with big eyes and a mouthful of cookies. Feixiao was stuffing the stolen cookies between her mouth and cheeks. You caught her in the act, and her face became red from embarrassment. It's not what it looks like. I can explain. Despite her protest, the cookies between her mouth said otherwise. Firefly. She pouts, looking away before sheepishly stuffing the cookie into her mouth. Her cheeks puff up. Xuan froze in place, in fear of being discovered. She slowly turns around to face you, still holding the cookies. Guinaifen freezes when she notices the chat watching her being caught. How much did you see? Hanya. She pauses at being caught but continues eating. She looks up at them with a dead look in her eyes. Are you going to snitch? Herta puts down the cookie she was about to eat. You saw nothing. Jade. She stops, a cookie in her mouth, and gives an innocent look. I was inspecting these cookies for quality purposes. Lingsha was caught red-handed in the act of stealing cookies and stood the frozen, looking very much guilty. Lingsha tried to think of an excuse, but failed, instead pouting with the cookie in her mouth. Pela was caught red-handed, like a little girl stealing cookies. She jumped from her seat, quickly trying to recompose herself, but it was too late. What are you doing here? She frantically tried to hide the cookies behind her back. Lynx quickly shoves the cookies into her bag. Qingque. Hiding a mouthful of cookies. Natasha freezes mid-bite. Rappa's eyes gleam with mischief. Without a moment of hesitation, she whips out a smoke bomb from her ninja scroll, activates it, and a cloud of thick smoke fills the area. Taking the opportunity, she makes a run for it, vanishing into the veil of smoke. Himeko freezes, cookie halfway in her mouth, and looks at you. There is an awkward silence, neither of you moving an inch, until I can explain. Jingliu. Have you come to try and stop me? Keeps eating the cookies in plain view of you. Kafka. It seems I've been caught. You are pretty perceptive. Don't tell Himeko you saw me stealing these, will you? Robin stops, mid-hand in the cookie jar. She turns her head and looks at you, her eyes wide like a cat caught red-handed. You saw that, didn't you? She giggles a bit to herself before continuing to eat. Oh well, you know, there are no calories in dreams. March 7th turns around, surprised to see you catching her red-handed with her hand inside the cookie jar. Oops, I was just having a little snack. I didn't think anyone was around. She quickly hides the cookie behind her back. a sheepish smile on her face. Hee hee, you're not going to tell Himeko or Pom Pom, right? Ruan Mei glares at you as she puts the jar away. Who told you to watch me when I'm taking a break? Seele. How did you even see that? You won't tell Bronya, right? I can explain. Serval sees you catching her. Don't you dare tell a soul that you saw me like this. Silver Wolf. Mouthful. Huh? What's the matter with you? Sparkle gasps in playful horror, covering her mouth with a hand. Oh no, you found me out in the midst of my stealthy operation. Placing the half-filled jar of cookies back on the table, Sparkle smiled and held her palms up, faking an act of surrender. What are you going to do now, sweetie? Stelle gives a sly smirk as she continues to munch on the cookie she just stole. Sushang hides the cookies behind her back. You don't have proof. Tingyun. Huh? I freeze still, a cookie halfway in and halfway out of my mouth, and stare at you with wide eyes. Topaz. She smiles and continues taking cookies from the jar, looking unbothered that she had been caught. You want a cookie too? She offers you a cookie. Huh? Xueyi immediately hides her hand behind her back, but it's too late. Her mouth is already full. Yunli lets out a gasp and freezes for a moment, before turning around and putting on her best puppy eyes. She can't believe she got caught red-handed, but instead of trying to escape, Yunli just chooses to stare up at you with a cute, pleading expression. Hey, can you please don't tell anyone, pretty please? Yukong nearly drops the jar when noticed, slowly lowering it as her tail swings behind her in slight embarrassment. Huohuo quickly tries to cover the jar. She look panicked. Huohuo, are you, by any chance, saw me stealing these cookies? Bailu stops in her place and looks at you. She puts the cookies behind her tail. I wasn't stealing them, I was just making sure they didn't have anything weird. She makes an unconvincing smile and looks into your eyes.